Hey everyone, welcome back to Dewey Smart's SAT Grammar Prep. Today we're going to be talking about homophones, and I'm going to take a couple videos to explain homophones more fully because there are a few particular examples that are important for you to know, and I'd like for those to have videos of their own, but also they're just a little bit tricky. So, what are homophones in general? Homophones are words with different meanings from each other, but are pronounced similarly, if not identically, in speech. So, one of the biggest examples of this, and an example of a homophone that is actually heavily favored by the College Board, is effect versus affect. Now, you're going to need to remember that effect is a noun, and it means an impact, and it's usually followed by the, or, and followed by on. So, those are a few prepositions surrounding it that you can use to figure out which one you're supposed to use. But affect is a verb, and it means to impact. I've written this phrase here before we actually start the practice problem just to get a better grasp on things. A strategy I like to use when figuring out affect versus effect is substituting another verb for affect if you find it in a sentence. So we have this will affect the economy. Let's try substituting the verb damage. If we substitute damage, we actually still have a grammatically correct sentence. This will damage the economy. If we try to do a certain other thing, like substituting a noun, for example, that wouldn't exactly work out. You wouldn't get a grammatically correct sentence in that case, which indicates to you that you should be using the verb, not the noun. Now, let's move on to the actual question at hand. However, their claims had little effect on the scientific community until 1992, when the first exoplanet was positively identified. First of all, we're seeing that it's using the verb affect instead of the noun effect. No change, we would keep the effect on the scientific community. Well, let's look at our options. We have effect to the scientific community using a different preposition, effect on the scientific community, and effect, comma, on the scientific community. D, we can get rid of right away. The effect followed by a comma is not needed in that sentence, so it's just grammatically incorrect. B, we can also get rid of. Effect to the scientific community is also a grammatically incorrect use of that preposition. So we have no change, effect on the scientific community, and change, effect on the scientific community. In this case, because we're referring to a noun, the impact that was already had, we're going to go with C, the effect on the scientific community. The verb would be ineffective in this case. Of course, we could also use the preposition on to help guide us in this choice. On is following effect and affect